Rightio guys, in this segment we're going to teach you how to install the rear spats and winglets onto the i30 Sedan N. Alright, so to get started, you're going to need a few tools. What you're going to need is an 8mm drill bit, ideally a white, you can use a black one, but a white pencil or pen, something like that. 10mm spanner with a ratchet end is going to make your life easier. A flathead screwdriver or a trim removal tool, and a 4mm Allen key or Allen key bit. Alright guys, step one, we're going to take our flathead screwdriver or trim removal tool and take out these 3 clips right there. FYI, it's not that one. Not this one. It's these 3 here. So next, you're going to pull the guard liner out, which is here, to give you some clearance to get in behind it and fasten up those bolts and nuts. Next, take your rear spat, place it underneath the rear bumper like so. You want to align this edge, and we'll get a close shot for you here, this edge with this edge of that mud flap guard liner there. You're also going to want to pay attention to this edge here. That top of the beveled edge should sit in line with the rear bumper there. And finally, the third point of registration is this edge here. That sharp, flat edge of your spat should sit in line with this edge here, like so. Once you have that all nicely lined up, holding it tightly in place, take your pencil or pen, mark your holes, and make sure you don't move it too much. You can also clamp this in place, however, it's a little bit difficult to clamp it on the driver's side. Passenger side has a lot more room, but for argument's sake, I'm just doing it this way. Next, take your 8mm drill bit and punch in some pilot holes. Now that we've got the holes drilled, we can take our nut and bolt and washer combos and put them in place. You've got four holes that you need to fill. If you're using the optional winglets, they are going to, sorry, I should put it the other way around. They're going to also utilize the same nut and bolts. Thanks, Lamborghini. So firstly, I like to install this one first because it's not going to go through the winglet as well. Take your nut, bolt and washer combo. There are cars moving all around the place. Take your first nut and bolt, sorry, first bolt and washer. Spit it out, man. Go in through here. Then take your winglet, line it up with the holes and insert the rest of the bolts and nuts. Ideally starting with the middle one here, because that's going to hold it all in place for you, like so. Now, before you go and tighten up the remaining 3 bolts that hold the winglet and spat in place, this is your opportunity to adjust how far out or in or what angle you would like your spat to sit on. Another thing to note, if you take a look under here, this particular adjustment point kind of covers over the clip location that you need to put in there. So, one way or another, you're going to need to have this side slightly out to allow enough room for you to get your clip in there when you're finished. Then take your 10mm ratchet spanner, 4mm Allen key and tighten them up. Alright, so once those are all tightened up, you can flex this guard liner back in, take the 3 clips that you took out and pop them back in place. And you're done. Alright guys, you got through the rear spats, now we're up to the flow lock rear diffuser. The things you're going to need to install the flow lock diffuser are your drill and a 6mm drill bit, an 11mm drill bit, an 8mm ratcheting spanner, well it doesn't have to be ratcheting, again, but it's ideal, a 4mm Allen key and a 3mm Allen key, a flat screwdriver or a trim removal tool, and a 10mm socket with a long extension. First thing we're going to do, take your flat screwdriver or trim removal tool and pop out these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clips along the front of the under tray. Once you've taken out the 5 clips along the front, you have 1/6 one hidden just up here. Next, grab your 10mm socket and a long extension, and you're going to remove the 2 bolts holding the under tray up here. One there, and one there. Finally, you're going to reach up in the center of the rear diffuser section here and untwist this plastic fastener. Take note, this fastener remains attached to the under tray. Next up, grab your 11mm drill bit, and we're going to widen the holes where those clips went in earlier. Next, we're going to take the jack nuts and our jack nut tool and insert them into those holes that we just widened. Next up, take your rear valance, flow lock diffuser without the flow lock fins, take your bolt and a 4mm Allen key head and attach it to the rear bumper. All right, once you've got your rear valance in place, don't tighten the bolts fully. Make sure you pay attention to these holes here. There's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They should line up with the base of these fins. All right, so you want to make sure that that stays in line. Once you've got them in line, then you can tighten up those back bolts to make sure you're going to drill your pilot holes for the remaining fasteners in the correct spot. Once you've tightened up those rear bolts, take your 6mm drill bit this time and punch in some pilot holes. Now that we've drilled our pilot holes, take your bolt and washer combo. So you're going to take these ones with the black head, long silver bolt, slide them into this washer, which is a really nice looking fitting. That's going to go underneath, like so. Take your large washer, that's going to go in behind, and then put your nut on the top of that.
Press my hand up against this metal thing.
Now that we've got the valance solidly installed on there, we can insert the flow lock fins, starting with L4, L3, L2, and L1, and then obviously going the opposite direction. You're going to have R1, R2, R3, and R4. So lastly, to reinstall the rear under tray, you're going to need to remove these bolts here using your 4mm Allen key. Then reinsert the diffuser, making sure you slot this part of the diffuser in between the flow lock diffuser and the rear of the bumper. This is a little easier to do if you take your flathead screwdriver and wedge open the gap between the diffuser and the flow lock diffuser. Now with that in place, tighten up the hand fastener in the center. There we are. Reinstall the diffuser bolts and put in the 2 nuts. And lastly, 1 clip up on the side of the under tray. The remaining ones will remain out because you've replaced them with bolts and nuts.